Broadcasting for a worldwide audience.
Hi, Nick and Hannah McMaster of Brighton-based alt-folk band The Sweet Ordeal, here with Finding Land Folk Show, music from the shores of folk. Welcome!
Yes, welcome. Whether you are steeped in the genre like Nick, a little toe dipper like me.
Funny toes.
Oh, funny little toes. Or joining the journey for the first time.
Got little hairs on them, on the knuckle bits. I call them toe islands.
Yes, you do. I'm sure people wanted to hear that.
You have to shave them, don't you? Scrub them. I take you to the vet to do that, don't I?
You do.
We have to put you to sleep.
I have to have one of those cones around my neck so I don't nibble at it. We are delighted that you can join us for an hour or so of traditional and contemporary folk and folk-adjacent music from around the UK and beyond, with a healthy sprinkling of artists from our own beautiful part of the world in Sussex. We want be druv, Nick.
We won't be druv at all. We start today's episode as we ended the last with Fiona So Pang, a producer, vocalist and sound artist of Scottish Burmese heritage, based in Aberdeenshire, North East Scotland. Combining her multi-layered vocals with dark rhythmic electronic features, field recordings, archive material and traditional instruments, the music creates innovative, mesmerising and unsettling songscapes.
I think that's a must, isn't it, with folk now? It's got to be a little bit slightly unsettling.
Absolutely. And we always go by the kind of rule that if it can fit into the Wicker Man, then it's a really good tune.
Absolutely. But not like literally fit into the Wicker Man like we want to burn it.
No, Fiona, we're not putting you in the Wicker Man. Not yet, because you follow us on all social media and share our posts, so you're a good person.
She's not going in.
No, she's not going in. From Fiona's latest album, Sand, Silt, Flint, and a great album it is too. This is the traditional Bonny Udny.
The beerse daar zo'n dier. Wanna begin again? Am I ready? Thank you.
Oh, my bonny Udny, my presence adieu. Think on you. Our health through valleys, how often they've gone. Through brambles and brushwood, myself all alone. went walking whistle through the glen. Bonny mullet lads came a courting, Elday and then the younger. Tricket was here with the sisters, courted be for them.
Udny, Bonny Udny, ye shine where you stand, and the mere I gaze upon you, oh, the mere my heart yearns for to keep my eyes from weeping. What a fool I would be for Ireland's and Scotland, Bonny Udny's for me. For a chupu, the red rose, and its all poo thing. For it you drink to your love, and I'll drink to mine. We will drink and be merry. We will drink till we're full, for the long, long walks of Udny, they are already go through. They stolen my sweetheart, and they've taken him from me. They stolen my sweetheart, and they've taken him from me. They stolen my sweetheart, but that they will rue, for the long, long walks of Udny, they are already go through. We will drink and be merry. We will drink and ging him. For to bide here any longer, we'll get a bad name. And to get a bad name, love, for that it went for Scotland, Bonny Udny for me.
Two stunning Bonnies for the price of one. The first by Fiona So Pying, the second by Lizzie Higgins, who, whilst only making 2 albums in her lifetime, is widely regarded as one of Scotland's greatest traditional singers. She described her vocal technique as including what she would call the pipe singing, in that she would often embellish a tune in much the same way a piper might, and I could really hear that in that song. I really got that idea of a lone piper.
Hannah,
Nick,
if your vocal techniques was assigned an instrument, what would it be? Well, I'd say a hurdy-gurdy. It's a constant drone, and one that puts in mind of a dark, eerie setting straight from the Middle Ages.
That's a little bit rude. I, on the other hand, would say that your voice would embody a penny whistle, slightly ludicrous and comical, and sort of buzzing around your ears a bit, yeah?
Hannah?
Nick?
Would you like to hear about some more unusual, old and ancient instruments?
Well, Nick, this morning when I got up, I don't think I did, but now you've said it, it's the only thing I can think about, so yes, please tell me.
This morning when you got up, I think you saw an unusual old instrument.
A penny whistle.
Unbelievable. So, for strings, we have the classical Iranian santur, which dates from around 1000 AD
Wow.
and is a kind of hammered dulcimer. A trapezoid box made of walnut, it has 72 strings which a musician plays with tiny featherweight hammers held between thumb and forefinger.
That's quite cute. I'd like to see that being played.
And that demand an exacting wrist technique. Keep it clean. The original santur was made with tree bark and stones and strung with goat intestines.
Yeah, funny that, because you're strong with goat intestines and demand an exacting wrist technique, don't you, Nick?
Next, for percussion, we have the literally legendary bumbulum.
Bumbulum, what a word.
A musical instrument described in an apocryphal letter of St. Jerome and illustrated in a series of illuminated manuscripts of the 10th to the 11th centuries. In one such manuscript, the instrument appears to consist of an angular frame, a chain and a rectangular metal plate with 12 bent arms attached in 2 rows of 3 on each side, one above the other. The arms appear to end in small rectangular bells, and it is supposed that the frame was intended to be shaken in order to set the bells jangling.
Oh.
Much like our lovemaking technique. On to wind. Oh,
If
God.
you would.
And dating back to Europe in the 12th century is the 3-hole pipe, also commonly known as Hannah, or the tabor pipe, or galubet. It is designed to be played by one hand, leaving the other hand free to play a tabor drum, bell, tambourine, bones, triangle, or other percussive instruments.
Or a bumbulum.
And finally, Hannah, of course, we have the pink oboe and the one-string banjo, which we can discuss and play another day.
If you would. Thank you, Nick, for all that. I feel that you've enriched my life no end from giving me all that information. But on a serious note, though, I do love that idea that, you know, all through these sort of thousands of years, there's instruments that have sort of been lost, and that maybe we have a sort of faint idea of what they might have been. We don't completely know what they do, but they're still there. A bit like you.
And you're right. I mean, if only that was applied to the didgeridoo, then Jamiroquai would never exist.
Absolutely. Today's episode is our chance to do a bit of housekeeping. So some of the music we play today are from artists that have connected with us on our social media platforms. And if you use the cursed platforms, feel free to follow us on Insta, Twitter, and Facebook. I mean, that's if Twitter still exists by the time this goes out. Mm-hmm. But not Truth Social yet. We start the ball rolling with Cambridgeshire singer-songwriter Ellie Walker, who has started following us on Twitter.
Hi, Ellie.
Hi, Ellie. From her 2007 EP, I Know, this is Silver Tongue.
Why can't I have a silver tongue? And why can't I just move the mountains with my words. And every time I try to say what I feel, oh, it all comes out wrong, comes out wrong. 'Cause there are people who can sing about their lives as well as yours, and all they have to think about is if they have too much cause. But why can't I ever see the light? And why must I always have to fight the emptiness in my head? Every time I try to write a clever rhyme or just something to sing, it always seems to sound absurd. A cheesy line, or it just makes no sense, makes no sense. 'Cause there are people who can sing about their lives as well as yours, and all they have to think about is if they have too much cause. But why can't I ever see the light? And why must I always have to fight the emptiness in my head? 'What I would give just to have that gift, if I could sing what I really feel, well, that would be what I'd really love, really love, really love, really love. 'Cause there are people who can sing about their lives as well as yours, and all they have to think about is if they have too much cause. Why can't I ever see the light? And why must I always have to fight the emptiness in my head? In my head, 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 in my head. 'Cause there are people who can sing about their lives as well as yours, and all they have to think about is if they have too much cause. But why can't I ever see the light? And why must I always have to fight the emptiness in my head?
In 1984, I was hospitalized for approaching perfection. Slowly screwing my way across scared me so when you turned to me and said, yeah, you look like someone. Yeah, you look like someone who up and left me low. Boy, you look like someone I used to know. Steve, it's because people even know highway will bring them back. So if you don't want me, I promise not to linger. But before I go, I've gotta ask you, dear, about that tan line on your ring finger. No one should have two lives. Now you know my middle names are wrong and right. Honey, we've got two lives to give tonight. To give tonight. To give tonight. Oh, 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 oh.
I really do love the Silver Jews.
Great lyricists, phenomenal lyricists, witty, intelligent. Oh,
Absolutely. So, so good. You've been listening to Silver Tongue by Ellie Walker, followed by New York City's witty indie country lo-fi rock stalwarts, the Silver Jews, with Random Rules from their 1998 album American Water on Drag City Inc. Records. Also following us on Twitter is The Book of the Lost, an album project by Emily Jones and the Rowan Amber Mill, a band who loosely describe their music as woodland folkadelica. From their 2020 album Golden Strings to Tether the Sun, this is Devon's The Rowan Amber Mill with the traditional Rosemary Lane.
I am my apprentice in Rosemary Lane, where I had the goodwill of my master and dame. A sailor came by whom he wanted tonight. That was the cause of my misery. The sailor was drowsy and he hummed a
just a cause of my misery.
Rosemary Jane is the first out of bed every morning, the same, but there's mouths to be fed with the money she gets from a man who is dead to himself and dead to everyone else. My sisters and I were always too young to remember the line about holding your tongue while the grown folks are talking, but the silence began long ago for Rosemary Jane. Sweet Rosemary Jane. It's Mothering Sunday, and the headline should say that we haven't forgotten the remarkable way that you took all that pain on your shoulders and put it away, Rosemary Jane. When I think of the things you had to endure, we were young, we were careless, headstrong and unsure. You guided us gently to the right path, whether loved or ignored, Rosemary Jane. I know I gave you a grey hair every time I messed up, each one a silver reminder that my mistakes add up. Through every one of my unforced errors, every slip, you never gave up. Sweet Rosemary Jane. It's Mothering Sunday, and the headline should say that we haven't forgotten the remarkable way that you took all that pain on your shoulders and put it away, Rosemary Jane. Sweet Rosemary Jane.
This is Finding Land Folk Show on Radio Lewes, where music matters. We are supported in our podcast journey by Brighton-based promoters Melting Vinyl. Hi, Anna.
Hi, Anna.
And Portslade's finest micropub, the Foghorn. Hi, Timmy. Hi, Tommy. Hi, Niall.
Hello.
You have just heard Rosemary Jane by the former member of punk rock band Million Dead, Frank Turner, who since the demise of his hardcore outfit has leaned into a folkier acoustic direction. Folk and punk music, of course, has had a long and fruitful relationship, and one can easily argue that there has always been strands of folk music that have rebelled against society long before punk was a glint in Johnny Rotten's eyes. What punk music did was remind folk musicians of this. Essex-born folk songwriter Beans on Toast, who has previously worked with Frank Turner, is a national treasure and fine proponent of this genre. The War on War brilliantly encapsulates this hippie, punk poet, die-hard romantic and eternal optimist all into one song.
And what a great song it is.
Amazing.
1, 2, 3, 4. I'm not sure if you heard my last album, but some of that shit was true. I've given up smoking cigarettes, I stopped taking cocaine too. And I don't do MDMA no more, but I do still sing that song. I don't regret all the times that I did, and I did have a lot of fun. And the war on drugs ain't a war worth fighting. What about a war on misunderstandings? What about a war on stupid politicians? What about a war on organised religion? What about a war on war? Or what about a moment of peace? Or what about we don't even have a bloody war? We just spark up this spliff. Well, we're always told to remember and never forget about World War I and World War II and all the tragedy and death that came with that. We keep it in our classrooms and we embed it in our minds as if it was an achievement for humankind. Well, what if we teach something different? And what if we talk of the times when humans succeeded in living together without going out of their minds? And what if we teach about hope and of kind generosity, understanding that everyone lives here together and everyone's got the same needs? Take the boombox out of Boomtown and put it in the Gaza Strip. I get my mate Mike to DJ it and drop some heavy shit. And maybe, just maybe, everyone will come and dance. Pass a couple of pills around and they might even forget about the past. Well, that sounds like a fucking stupid, ignorant idea. If anybody out has got a better one, baby, I'm all ears. And the war on drugs ain't a war worth fighting. What about a war on misunderstanding? What about a war on stupid politicians? What about a war on organised religion? What about a war on war? Or what about a moment of peace? Or what about we don't even have a bloody war? We just spark up this spliff. Hey!
We now return to an occasional feature of the show. Oh, I'm excited, Nick. It's Hannah's Could It Be Folk slot, in which I present one of my favourite songs and ask Nick, could it be folk? So, presenting to the presiding judge today, do you have your wig on, Nick?
I don't know. I'll have to look in my trousers.
This is a song by Wolverhampton's glam rock legend Slade from their 1973 album Sladest and their first number one. This is 'Cause I Love You. And I'm always pleased about this song that they spelt the 'cause and the love in the kind of suitably 1970s way.
Well, Hannah, I think you've missed a trick here. I think you're meant to say, from their 1973 album Sladest and their first number one, this is 'Cause I Love You.
Oh, brilliantly done.
I won't laugh at you when you boo-hoo-hoo, 'cause I love you. I can turn my back on the things you like, 'cause I love you. I just like the things you do. Won't you change the things you do? In a
Just one of my favourites there. I love that song. And I think that violin wouldn't be out of place in the Waterboys Fisherman's Blues. And it's got that foot-stomping balladry about it. I love it. But I await your judgment, oh mighty Nick.
So, Hannah, in my most patronising voice possible.
Yes.
Thank you for your choice.
Well.
However, this really is one that deserves to come before the Finding Land Folk Show Assizes. And I am assuming that you do so because of the robust fiddling that Slade subject us to.
You got to be careful with saying that about 70s bands, Nick.
Before I make my summary, though, once again, we need to establish our benchmark about what constitutes folk music, which is, Hannah?
Traditional instruments and a good story, which in your view is best when it's about death.
Exactly. Now, of course, there is a rich and profound history of folk songs that don't meet that criteria. They are the marvellous jigs, reels and hornpipes, the dance tunes with or without lyrics that are as much part of the folk tradition as the work, love and murder ballads that populate our favourite genre. Therefore, I place the consideration of Slade in this category.
And you'd be right to do so.
Could this be a type of folk dance tune?
Well, I hope so. I'm keeping my fingers firmly crossed.
So, we skip over the rather rudimentary love lyrics and concentrate on the vocal delivery and music. Noddy Holder's vocals are in the gravelly rock sphere, common with the hairy-chested 1970s.
Yes.
Which does not necessarily count against him, though perhaps the production on the voice takes it away from folk slightly. And it is the production which possibly counts against a song which has a memorable, if rough around the edges, electric violin solo. When first written, the band thought the song was wet and weak and so decided to add foot stomping and hand clapping to it. Now, although these elements really add to the overall tune, imagine it without them and then you might have a folk tune. And it is what the Guardian newspaper retrospectively described as bootboy rhythm that for me places a song in another genre. In conclusion, Hannah, you ask, could it be folk? And my verdict is no. Whilst the case for the violin is compelling, the overall production and style of the vocals and rhythm elements place it firmly in their glam territory. However, I could easily see Laura Marling turning it into an acoustic John Lewis Christmas advert in the future.
Yes, I absolutely could see that happening. Well, as always, Nick, I have to accept the judge's judgment, so to speak, even though I might sit here and fume silently at you. But, you know, again, at the end of the day, I just got to play a song I really like, so I'm okay.
Take her down.
Should I look before it falls?
And did we really try? Nothing lasts forever, but I'm glad that you stopped by. How much do you know I wanna care? 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 Or even say, I know this feeling, but I've never been here before. What is this I'm feeling? Is it love? I'm not sure. I know this feeling, but I've never been here before. No, I've never been here before. Never been here
After my failed attempts at finding land with Slade and their song 'Cause I Love You, you've just listened to Never Been Here Before by the Brighton-based high-energy Americana folk rock band Noble Jacks, who show Slade the way in having fiddle-led, foot-stomping folk dance music. And Nick, you have another song for us that should get us all dancing around the kitchen, right?
Absolutely, or any room in one's house.
The garage?
And it is from an extraordinary tribute album to the genius that is English folk musician and banjoist Clive Palmer, briefly founder member of influential British psychedelic folk band The Incredible String Band. Palmer subsequently went on to form the famous Jug Band and Clive's original band, better known as Cobb, as well as working as a solo artist. His influence permeates through the British folk revival of the 1960s, the progressive acid folk of the 1970s, and the experimental free folk of the 1990s and noughties.
Wow, steady on there. That's a lot of movements to go through.
Absolutely. Yet, perhaps due to his peripatetic lifestyle, not always aligned to the music industry, he is not so well known as he should be. However, with nearly 30 artists and bands recording specially for Spirit of Clive, a tribute to the music of Clive Palmer and Cobb, that may be and should be about to change. This is the opening track, Chain of Love, as covered by Alex Rex.
I have no news to bring you, said the messenger. The rain goes to the river just the same, and still I watch you laughing in the garden, for the flame
Clive Palmer's Chain of Love, as performed by Alex Rex, the self-described ghost rock project of Glasgow's Trembling Bells drummer Alex Nielsen. Also on the album is the beautiful Let It Be You, as covered by Cambridge-based Naomi Randall, purveyor of psych madrigals and hypnotic acid lullabies.
And when it's loving, let it be you. And when I'm giving, let it be you. I woke this morning and without warning, someone was near me, and it was you. To put it down right, to make it true. If songs were people, this could be you. But if I lose it, or just confuse it, let's make it summer. Let's make it blue. And when it's loving, let it be you. And when I'm giving, let it be you. I woke this morning and without warning, someone was near me, and it was you.
Wow. 2 songs there from Spirit of Clive, a tribute to the music of Clive Palmer and Cobb.
That was a beautiful song, though. I mean, both of them were wonderful, but that last one was beautiful.
And there's 28 more to listen to.
Oh.
It's absolutely immense. Released in October of this year, produced and curated by Ben Kingsbury.
Not Ben Kingsley.
And with all profits going towards the restoration of recently discovered rare recordings of Clive from the 1960s onwards, and to the production of a documentary about this often overlooked musician.
Well, that sounds like a good cause.
I'm just so impressed with that. Great work, Ben. Great work.
Absolutely. And now we come to our fairly regular feature of the Fockhorn Sussex Best Showcase, where we feature a folk band or artist from the glorious county of Sussex, an easy task with so much musical talent in the area. Calming River, who contacted us via email, is the nom de plume of Brighton...
Plume, Hannah. Garage.
Nom de plume of Brighton... Plum. Brighton-based singer-songwriter Delaware, Joshua Malcolm.
Unbelievable.
His material delivers a dark and moody aesthetic, predominantly through the use of finger-picked guitar, alternative tunings, and ambient soundscapes.
Soundscarp.
His debut album, 2021's Dead Blue Bottles Supine, has resulted in Calming River being featured in the Unsigned Guide and BBC Introducing. And it is from this record that he has picked 2 tracks. First is Boats, a song written after the unexpected passing of 2 young friends.
Day 1 and night. this little box of empty shards. To the ocean that I'll go, to wash away the scars today, bury them in the sun.
Next up is a song in the form of a letter written by a mother with her child lying in a hospital bed, praying for a positive outcome. This is While Helsinki Sleeps.
As always on Sussex Best, we ask our featured artist to pick a song by a band or artist they admire. Therefore, we end with Joshua's selection of John Barrett's Outside a Mirror on the 2015 album The Silent Minute. Joshua writes, I met John whilst living in Perth, Western Australia, and this album is utterly beautiful. It is a masterpiece of a record, yet has barely been heard. This album for me is a desert island record. Certainly in the UK, I don't think this album has had any radio play. Outside a Mirror is a personal favourite of mine from the time that John and I used to play the circuit of venues around Perth. I always admired the raw expression and lyrics in his work. Thanks to Calming River for taking part in Sussex Best and the Foghorn Micropub in Portslade for their support. If you are a Sussex-based artist who would like to feature, please get in touch via email at findinglandfolkshow@gmail.com.
We end today's show with another artist who started following us on Twitter. Malcolm McWatt is a Scottish-born, London-based songwriter and multi-instrumentalist, Americana, roots and folk musician from his 2021 album Settler, and in the company of Nashville-born, New York-based country music artist Laura Cantrell. This is The Curse of Molly McPhee. Until next time, goodbye.
Goodbye.
There once was a lass called Molly McPhee, and she came from my hometown. Her hair was black as a northern sky, and her eyes were a bonny nut brown. And when she smiled, she could turn the coldest winter to high summer. Oh, Molly McPhee, will you marry me? For I cannot love another. A single man and a married man, I wanted her the same. And the preacher lusted after her, much to his mortal shame. One by one she turned them down, and he could not understand why a woman would want to live without the guidance of a man. Molly McPhee was a witch, some said, and the rumors spread like fire. Her dark charms could snare your heart and fill it with desire. Her bed's a certain road to hell where your soul will never return. Oh, Molly McPhee, will you marry me? My soul already burns. Molly, oh Molly, won't you come away? Let's leave this place right now. The men are making a gallows rope, the same men you turn down. And if you're a witch, I can live with it. We'll dance 'neath the Halloween moon. Molly, oh Molly, come away with me, and come away real soon. But Molly McPhee stood her ground, said, this is my home. I'll not run like a thief, she said, for I've done nothing wrong. And if I am the devil's daughter, as this holy preacher claims, then why does he come around begging for me to lift my skirts for him? That's a lie, the preacher screams, oh people, can't you see? This witch has cast her demon spell to catch my sacred seed. And all the men looked at the ground and said the preacher's right. Let's hang this bitch, aye, she's a witch. Let's hang the girl tonight. Molly, oh Molly, won't you come away? Let's leave this place right now. The men are making a gallows rope, the same men you turned down. And if you're a witch, I can live with it. We'll dance beneath the Halloween moon. But Molly, oh Molly, come away with me, and come away real soon. So they dragged Molly to the hanging tree. There they strung her high. The women cut her long black hair, and the crows plucked out her eyes. And some still say if you stand beneath the tree and listen well, you'll hear, remember me, I'm Molly McPhee, and I'll marry you all in hell.
Radio Lewes. Local community webcasting.